Cerebral palsy is a neurological disability which is prevalent among children, a condition which mostly leaves primary caregivers of people with such conditions far worse off. Elizabeth Pongbosu is the mother of a cerebral palsy patient who lives in Kaswa in the central region of Ghana. She shares a chilling account of neglect and the difficulties she has been going through in taking care of her CP son. She lives in an abandoned, uncompleted building with her 11-year-old son. The father is said to have abandoned them to their fate some 9 years ago because Elizabeth did not buy in the idea of her son's father to terminate the life of their cerebral palsy child. She says her child's condition has made it impossible for her to work to fend for the family.
When I was in labor, say 3 days later, I was in labor for 3 days later, which is not supposed to be so. It's a delay me, my wo. When I give birth to Nakola no when so. It's Emma, me benya, akola no benya challenges bimu a chese. Ama ni affecting the brain no. It's ama chese. Time I was say on fan nanti no onti me. Time I was on fan kasano onti me. I've been going to antenatal at a private hospital. So when I was in labor, I went there. So they delayed me before they refer me to Ridge Hospital. So the following day, and I gave birth to him, and they said the child was delayed. That's why he couldn't cry. So they have to give him force this thing so that he can cry, this oxygen, so that he can be able to cry. So since then, and the doctor diagnosed him, say it's like one like Ceciano, he's a cerebral palsy patient, which is as a delayed nama nsuo akoni mama brain no anya ekro kakra. So ama she say entime function to the body like maybe he will be able to walk or sit or talk. Maybe it can be possible say he can be able to walk, but it depends. You have to deal with physiotherapy, getting some medication that will sharpen the brain as time goes on, and at times too it can be manageable. So
but how old is he now?
He's 11 years old, and it wasn't easy having a child who cannot talk, cannot sit, do anything. I've been doing everything for him, and for all this while, no, it was a very terrible for me. No, I'm not working because of the boy. Initially, I've been working with him. I've been working in his office at Temahabo. For now, because of the boy's condition, I'm not working.
She says her inability to buy her son's medications on time often makes her son experiences severe seizure.
Yeah, na EKOW physio ewo 37, EKOW clinic ewo 37, but you see ano say obi timi support me na me ye. Nti me ntimi nya sa support no money medication no o mu a otimi nya seizures pa. It's as a convulsion. It me chine pa because onya sa medications no. Na why stiff because physio yentimi nko physio. Ni na no as a transportation support na odi beto tondru no. Ni ebe di kra yentimi nya. Nti unya kakra am di apeduane ama no. Ama yentimi mane ni ndru no ana say physio yentimi nko. I'll be very grateful for Ghanaians to know say enhu ni pakra or bombe abrose any abofra we abrosa, because my man opportunity no bebre say anka de bia obehu me mobo hu abofra we mobompo na at least obetimi ama ne nsa aso me ni abofra yesususu wanye maka bia chese wo on fire hu kra me ka bia o say take me to court ni opa bia ye me san so onim say me ni obia wo ho a obetimi aka masema ye den ama me nipa meka na semi is not obi a meka so nipa bia sa kekea meka so onim cerebral palsy hu asem oye assistant commissioner ewo customs ewo Tamale in customs ewo Tamale sa papa na asem na meka your friend Raphael Bediaku Obreni oye assistant commissioner in customs ewo Tamale. Well,
very interesting. When was the last time you heard from the boy's daddy? When was the last time?
It's 8 years now because we're blocking my contacts Nina where I will reach him no. We're blocking is I say yeah na my pay different number me different na otiminia na wakati call no. I try every best say ni efemu bra me bre or how I me femu ewo abofra hu no anka onboa me keke na mentimi mfidi abofra no me frɛ no pe otimi ni pe na wakati me ko be say 8 good years ni.
And I will say Sisia na Akorano is 11 or 10 years now. 11 years now. But at the time that you delivered or you gave birth, he was there at the hospital. Yes. He took the bills, he footed for the hospital bills, everything. But since then, at what point in time did you realize that the man he has started changing toward you and your son?
Meka say me banu nya be say 3 years no. Because osan benya hole in heart. It's I say your bomodia enye hole in heart per se, but it's something about nakuma ne ho. It's ye sa surgery no ewie ya eno anu no na I say was it be say 3 years akola ni nya 3 years no na nini ye den exercise.
In a telephone interview with Raphael Bediaku Oreni, father of Elizabeth's son, he refuted allegations of abandoning his fatherly responsibilities. According to him, he sends 200 Ghana cedis every week to Elizabeth for the upkeep of his son.
When last year the child was admitted at 37, I paid everything. 8 years, I paid.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I paid. When was that?
I think last year. The child even had this cerebral palsy. I did everything, heart bypass, cardio, Kolibu, Dr. Fribo, very expensive. I paid everything.
It's the situation because
I did the money through mobile money, and she took the money and paid.
Yes, so can you share with us the amount of money you sent to her?
Oh, I'm not holding any particulars here. I was in Tamale, so I was transferring the money to her directly and some through the friend.
What is the name of the friend that you are talking about? You are making reference to?
This friend who was with her at the hospital. She is called Beatrice.
Beatrice.
Yes.
And when was that?
I can't remember exactly. I think last year.
Last year.
Yes, and every week, every Saturday, Monday, I would send 200 a week, weekly, because if you send the money in bulk, you will say it's finished. So I made it regular, 200 every week.
Every week. When was the last time you sent her money, 200 cedis?
No, I can't remember exactly.
But you are making specific,
But what happened was that there was an issue. They was just cursing me, insulting me, that I should not call her again. That broke the camel's back. If I wasn't responsible, I bought her land, I put one single room for her. She is saying that I abandoned her. Ask her from the beginning. She stayed at 3 or 4 different places. Timber, 4 different places. before I bought the land for her.
Akola ni yari ya yekoda hospital no ni na mu se onyayanka yenka na ye ni doctor no kranka na chese ye intime wo ne pani yari ye na okoda hospital no because na intime ntia hospital bill no like injection ni amma mu de wo no nti me brother Erichi no catching so akola ni yari da hospital asema odi catch me brother ni say this is the time anka onyanka na kayawo akola ne pane na akola ne fim mesi da bi nti no enu anu no chese oyi ni nsa efiri yesu on my aduane like nothing ni na ne say den na obenya wo akola we hu fa so oben na obenya wo ne hu nti ebe ya anka yenyi ni mfiro ana say yenkoja ne kwan.
He debunked making suggestions to Elizabeth for the life of his son to be terminated. Raphael accused Elizabeth of threatening his life and raining curses on him on a number of occasions.
Me. How could I even sponsor heart bypass? Do you know how much it costs at cardio? Heart bypass. Then you move to another level. That's 7. Yeah.
Are you in any way denying?
You should bring evidence. Me, how can I say me, educated person, go and kill somebody? When I send you 200 Monday, and then you start insulting, cursing me, why wouldn't I block you? But when I block, then I open. When I block, then I open. But the money was going.
Can you help us with the time that you started sending those monies to her, and the last time you sent her the said amount, that is the 200 cedis?
I can't remember those things. I did not recall because you send money, mobile money. When I visited her, she used a kitchen knife to stab my thighs. She wanted to stab me and I was running. And out of the anger, out of the rage, she blasted all my 4 thighs with the knife. So I had to leave the car there. But the following day, I went and did the touch through a vulcanizer.
He also reiterated his commitment and willingness to take care of his son.
I know the problem she's facing. I'm worried more than any other person. You see, but you go there, you attack me. I want somebody else to help me, so that if I will send the money to the person, then the person will give it to her. Because tomorrow she will come again and deny that I've not been sending her money. Today, like this, if I send her money, will you know? She will deny. When there's an issue, he has not been taking care of me at all. Well, it's my yes against her no. It's her yes against my no. So if I get a family member, not my side, her side, every month, what is it? Or if every week, then I send it to her, as I was doing.
Elizabeth says their only source of survival is by depending on the benevolence of few friends and relatives, which are not even forthcoming. Elizabeth's dream is to see her son work and enroll in school.
Taking care of him, say ni sushare se si ani die. First, make us say nyankupo adum. Secondly, amanfo mu a, and say ebi wo hwa ye hold program ema nkola ne mu a ekwa omuche omu diaper ebi wo hwa omutimi che yeska na ebi mususu amanfo mu a because me ha no me buy no na say na ha ye terrible amanfo mu ana na kakra me so me dey try bibi say kametimi anya bibi aye ofie ni mu na matimi dey support akola no so it is for now there is people's help.
But currently the place you are occupying, are you renting? Is it your own? How did you manage to get here?
This place dear, in fact, papa no and mama ska na me di beto land no. But onim house so because me to land no and na obo modi na ye put it up one room on the land ɛma yɛn. Nti enu echi no enu anu no nye easy. Nti the whole thing na koye say obi ye mmoa na meso no me dey support akola no so kakaka. Nti ni na ya manfo mmoa so. Nti haye me media menyanka abofrai anka ono susu on wasori ananti na ono susu ayeden akọ school sesenia ne nuanem na aka nyina etimi yeden ekọ school na se menya sa amwa na anka be me de because it's my desire say like ono susu betimi asori ejina ne nine so mesu me ko school na mesu me ho atimi ayeden ahenha me na mesu matimi aye ne metimi ayeden aye.
About 17 million children worldwide are affected. Ghana's cases of cerebral palsy are particularly high, with 1 out of every 300 newborns affected. Studies in Ghana also show how children with cerebral palsy have other conditions such as delayed in growth, malnutrition, among others. Head of the Neurodevelopmental and Sickle Cell Clinic at Ridge Hospital, Dr. Yvonne Brew, shed more light on the possible causes of the condition.
So cerebral palsy basically means that the child has problems with movement, body movements, as a result of brain injury, either during pregnancy, during delivery, or after birth, in the first 2 to 3 years of life. Okay, so brain injury in children can occur from many causes during pregnancy. And it's important to know that everything that happens to a mother can happen to a child. So for instance, the mother falls sick during pregnancy. That infection can affect the brain. If the mother has hypertension, for instance, and gets eclampsia or preeclampsia, the high blood pressure can affect the baby. The mother gets diabetes or gets infections like chickenpox, rubella, toxoplasmosis. All these are infections that are known to affect a child's brain, and these infections can cause brain injury that can lead to cerebral palsy in a child. We know that the typical pregnancy will end in a labor that will last for some hours and then the baby comes out. Sometimes, for various reasons, the baby is unable to come out at the appropriate time. Now, when that happens, the brain is deprived from essential nutrients, including oxygen. And if the baby doesn't receive enough oxygen because of the challenges with the delivery, that baby can become asphyxiated, meaning the baby did not get enough oxygen. Sometimes the babies come out too early, what is known as prematurity. Cerebral palsy can come in grades. So in the grades of severity can be different for every child. We have children with mild cerebral palsy who are walking, going to school like everybody else, and it's actually difficult for you to pick out that this child has cerebral palsy unless you have experience in it. Then we have the various grades, and then we have those who are so severe that they can't do anything. Their bodies are so stiff and they can't even hold themselves. They can't talk, they can't move. So cerebral palsy is a spectrum of conditions, and the complications, every child and the complications they have. Now, if you're going to cure cerebral palsy or treat cerebral palsy, it means you have to cure the brain injury. So remember, cerebral palsy is as a result of brain injury. So if I want to cure cerebral palsy, I have to cure the brain injury. Unfortunately, brain injury in children cannot be cured. You can only manage the symptoms. And the symptoms are quite a lot. And that's the frustration of parents. If you pick the typical child with cerebral palsy, moderate to severe cerebral palsy, they have epilepsy, which is convulsions. They keep having convulsions all the time. So we have to treat their convulsions. You understand? So we treat the convulsions, and the convulsions may continue for life. So it means the child may be on treatment for convulsions for life. We talk about body stiffness, which is very common in children with cerebral palsy. They are very stiff. So it means we have to give medications to loosen their muscles their whole life. They have challenges with swallowing food or chewing food. So it means then that their food has to be very soft. And for those who can't even swallow, we have to put in a tube into their stomach to feed them. So you have to pick each of these problems one by one and then deal with each of them as they come. If the child can't speak, then that child needs speech therapy. If the child can't hold objects with the hand, that child needs occupational therapy. And these therapies are long term, meaning that the child may need them throughout his lifespan. Children like that may have intellectual challenges, so they will need special education. So it means that they will need to have specialized schools or be in a school that provides that service for them their whole lives. So and if the child is not moving, mobility is an issue. The child cannot walk or move from one place to the other. That child will need a mobility device like maybe Zimmer frames, walkers, or wheelchairs, maybe motorized ones, so that they can move themselves around. If the person can't talk, will the person get a communication device that can speak for him? I'm sure you've seen the video of Professor Stephen Hawking, who cannot speak, but his computer can speak for him. So we need to know that children with cerebral palsy need a lot of assistance, and some of these assistive technologies are available for them.
Dr. Brew discounts any spiritual connotation and says it cannot be inherited from any family ties.
For many years, because we didn't have the benefit of medical science, there were lots of theories about the child being an evil child because the child it's not walking, it's not sitting. But now we've been able to look back to see and to be able to tell why these children have these challenges. It's important for us to know that cerebral palsy occurs in every part of the world, and the prevalence, out of 1,000 babies, 2 or 3 of them have cerebral palsy in every part of the world. So it's not a problem that is just specific to us in Ghana here. And cerebral palsy is recognized as a condition that happens because children get brain damage. So no, those children do not have any there's no spiritual connotations to cerebral palsy. It is from injury that occurs to the baby. And as the healthcare systems improve, you would realize that some causes of cerebral palsy will disappear.
She appeals to the general public to come to their aid in order to meet the needs of her son.
Menya metimia ebetimia boa meni akola ni na ni se menya adwuma bia ye wo efie ha ti se meton nyama kakra ti se drinks ni nyama na nsuo ewia mo ha no nsuo eni ha ti se metiminya bo ho bi na se me mamamfo be san kakra susu a eno susu no metimia nya coins kakra dia fidi akola no na me try every best susu se menya kakra two bags na media put it up the next room no se na be ya in case e betimia eden a rent na no susu no atimia a support ye ehia ne dia akola na ejuma no emwa no yehia pa se ganafo betimi aboa yen na yatimi ejina yenan su na matimi dia aboa akola no because for now no meni obia. I'm trying to put up something in front of my house so that I'll be selling small so that I can be able to take care of the boy. Oh, container in the afena my she say me peso me timi enye because me nya twi crampo fa ye e won inside one afena my na say I come one.
Elizabeth Pongbosu's situation is not a case in isolation. It is a reflection of what many parents of cerebral palsy patients go through in raising their children. For far too long, very little or no attention has been given in improving the well-being of people with cerebral palsy as a nation. Offering social support is an essential ingredient in alleviating the psychological and physical burden of primary caregivers of people with such conditions.